This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social, and I'm delighted to be joined by promoter Frank Warren outside of his beautiful house behind us. Frank, quite a spectacular location to hold a press conference, something that we're not quite used to.
Well, it is, and it's only, it's about a mile, not even a mile away from Stevenage Football Club where the fight's taking place, so we thought this was an ideal location to get all the guys together.
You've just mentioned it, the fight taking place only a mile down the road. How does it feel for yourself to be able to put on a show so close to home?
I'm delighted. I'm like for Bill, this is for Bill, this is a good thing. It's his home county, Hertfordshire, and a little bit of history in the making here. And I don't think they've had a world title fight, to my knowledge, here since going back to the old bare knuckle days in Hertfordshire. So for Bill, he's going to create a bit of history. Hopefully he wins, and he'll create more history.
What are you expecting from Bill on Saturday night? His first time working with Ben full time as his head trainer. What differences do you think he will show us?
Well, first he's fighting at a different weight, so I don't know. We've got to see how he settles down. He's fighting a guy who's naturally bigger. When you look at when they were standing together doing the head-to-head, he was a much physically bigger guy. So I think at the end of the day, Bill being out the ring for a while in a real competitive fight, Bill coming up a weight, I think it's going to, there's a few questions to be answered.
A lot of people have kind of just written off Shefat Isufi and expect Bill to walk over him. Well, is that one of the risks, that obviously he's dropping down through the weights as his career's gone on, whereas Bill's just moving up, so he's got to make that natural adjustment? Well,
he's got to make that adjustment and we'll see what happens. But, all these people who write people off, we promoted James DeGale against Truax, and he was ranked number 40 in the world, and he must have been 100-1 against to win that fight, and he won it.
Looking beyond this, what types of fights are you guys looking at for Bill? Do you see his career maybe progressing at super middle, or could you see him dropping back to middleweight?
Well, providing he comes through, he's then got a choice. But he wants the big fights, and that's what we're trying to deliver for him. There's no, he comes through this, he'll have a seat at the table, and hopefully it'll get him into a significant fight, a meaningful fight with a well-known name.
You mentioned the likes of Callum Smith. How big could that be for British boxing if that one was to happen?
It's a huge fight. Again, there's not a problem with us making the fight. That'd be a great unification bout if Bill wins the title. Fantastic unification fight. But the best person to ask that question is his manager, Joe Gallagher, because I don't think he fancies it.
You mentioned in a previous interview, Callum's coming in quite close to the weight now, and he's obviously looking to move up eventually. How soon would you say you could see Callum moving up, and how quickly do you think you'd have to make that fight?
Well, he'll move up, I think, to make fights that are going to make him some money. And when I was talking to Joe, he was talking about maybe doing it in 2 fights' time. Well, 2 fights' time will be next year. I don't think Callum will be boxing at super middleweight next year.
I just want to touch on the rest of his card. Start off with Joe Joyce, his first fight under the Queensbury Promotions banner. How excited are you to see him win against Alexander Ustinov?
I'm excited for him to be on the show. He's only had 8 fights as a pro. This is a big step up for him. So he's got to come through this. They're 2 big men. Ustinov's got a good pedigree. He's only 2 fights ago. He was fighting for a trial for his version of the WBA title. So let's hope he comes through it. It's be a good test for him.
We're still waiting for news as to who he will face on July 13th. Ajit Kabayel seems to be the one which the rumours are circulating around. Is that the likelihood?
We haven't even got there with who he's going to fight. Let him get through the fight on Saturday first of all.
And Brad Foster defending his British title and also fighting for a Commonwealth title against Ash Lane. Your thoughts on that one?
That's a cracker. Get the coin, spin it, and could be either of them. They're both up for it. It's going to be a good fight. These two are going to, as soon as that bell goes, that's going to be telephone box stuff.
For someone who's only 21, he won the British title in his 12th fight in Brad. How surprising can it be that someone with no amateur experience in boxing, and he's only had the kickboxing experience, that he's managed to take to the sport so quickly and find himself in a position that he is in?
Well, it's amazing, but he's obviously a fighting man, having fought in kickboxing for a number of years and won various world titles in that discipline. But he is a fighting man. To win a British title in quite a tough division after 11 fights, as you say, with no experience, is a bit of an achievement.
And we're waiting for news as well on Anthony Yard, Sergey Kovalev. A little update for us, Frank?
You'll know tomorrow.
Any exclusives?
Not till tomorrow.
I just wanted to get your thoughts as well on Deontay Wilder's recent comments about, boxing's a sport where people can lose their lives, and he's getting paid to effectively take someone's life and pass away. He's looking at it ahead of his fight with Dominic Brazil on Saturday. What was your thoughts when you'd heard about it?
Well, first of all, it's a dangerous sport, and the worst thing that could happen is you could lose your life. There is that. But for him to make the comments how he's made them, I think they're pretty stupid, they're crass, they're not needed. Sport is, as you say, as we all know, is dangerous enough as it is. I've met him quite a few times, Deontay. I don't believe deep down he means that. I hope he doesn't. And maybe he said it in the heat of the moment with fight week and he's uptight. I don't know, but I hope he retracts those statements. I'm quite sure he's sorry he made them. But boxing's dangerous. It doesn't need those sort of comments. We all know it's dangerous. We all know these guys put their life on the line, and it's not the sort of thing he should be saying.
How do you see his fight going with Dominic Brazil on Saturday night?
I think Brazil will give him a good fight, but I fancy he'll come through it. But he will give him a good fight.
Well, Frank, I know you've had a long day now, so thanks for speaking to Boxing Social. See you tomorrow.
It's a pleasure, Andy. See you tomorrow.
Cheers, Frank.